Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make stewed hen Poul sauce. I got this hen at my local market. You can find this anywhere. Now I'm also going to be using some bell peppers and onions, some thyme and some habanero pepper. I also have tomato paste that I have dissolved in water, but we're going to use that later on. Right now I'm just going to focus on cutting up my chicken into pieces. Now when it comes to hen, it's the older chicken, it's not a young chicken, meaning that the meat is different, it's tough. It's not something that you can cook like chicken. You boil the chicken and within 15 minutes it's cooked. No, this is very different. It's a different meat. It tastes different as well. This is the preferred meat that I know my mom, my mother-in-law, grandparents, they prefer to eat. Now with this chicken, you want to slow cook it. You want to give it time. Time is what's gonna make this chicken different. You have to give it the amount of time that it needs to cook. Usually I would cook this in a slow cooker, but for this particular video I will cook it on the stove top to show you guys how it is done. So all I was basically doing, like I was saying earlier, is just cutting up my chicken, removing the legs, the breast and wings and stuff like that. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the skin and clean it like I normally do. I will put a link in the description box to show you guys how I would normally clean my chicken. Now that it's all clean, I'm gonna go ahead and add my magi. Magi is very essential to this particular recipe, so I would definitely recommend that you add it into your chicken. I'm also going to be using some garlic powder, some adobo, salt, and seasoned salt for this recipe. And as you guys know, I will be using my ippies, and I also added some white wine vinegar. Now, another key for this chicken, you want to marinate it either overnight or a few hours prior to you cooking it. It needs that time for the marinade to penetrate the meat so you can have a nice flavor. When you just marinate it and then you cook it right away, what's gonna happen is the chicken will be bland. I'm just letting you guys know right now. Like I said, it's a tough meat. This is an old bird. This is not a young chicken, so the meat, the texture, everything about it is different. So you need to allow it to have time to marinate and time to cook. And I put mine in the fridge overnight, and this is what it looks like after I was done marinating it and stuff like that. Now the next day, I have it on the stove. I let it cook for a good 10 minutes first before adding water, which is what I'm about to do now. I'm adding about 3 cups of water. I'm going to cover it and let it cook for a whole hour. Before I even do anything else to it, I'm gonna let it cook for an hour. So this is an hour later. As you can see, there has been some changes, but it's not ready yet. And I'm showing you the slow process of what it looks like you have to let it cook. So I let mine cook for a good 2 hours. I also wanted to add that I cooked this on slow heat. Now that it's all done, I'm going to use that same pot after I drain the meat. I'm going to add some oil to my pan, and I'm going to put the chickens just so it could have some kind of crisp color to it. And now this is when you're going to need your tomato paste to be ready in hand, because we're going to get ready to use that. But for now, you want to lay your chicken in the pot and let it get some color. You don't want it to look too white. So now I'm just flipping it just so each piece of chicken can have that opportunity to brown up a little bit. As you can see, the color has changed. That's basically what I'm doing. And then I'm going to go ahead, like I said, grab that tomato paste that I had dissolved in water earlier. I'm going to go ahead and add it in, and I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to add it in and let the chicken continue to change color. Say you want me, then I need you. Say you need me, say you want me, baby. Alright, so go ahead and add that tomato paste a little bit at a time. I'm not adding the whole thing, just a little bit at a time. I'm going to let it brown up some, flip it, and then repeat the process. Now once that tomato paste, I'm done with using it, I'm going to take a little bit of the chicken broth at a time and continue to add it as the chicken continues to brown up. Say you want me for me, baby, come close, you can see, my colors are coming in very nicely, and I'm going to continue to let that get some more color before I fully add the rest of that chicken broth in there. Alright, so now I'm just going to flip it one last time because I feel like it has the color that I'm looking for. You could leave it a little longer if you want it to be a little darker, but for me this is just right. So I'm going to go ahead and add the remainder of my chicken broth. I'm also going to add about 3/4 cups of water in here, followed by my habanero pepper and also the bell peppers and onions that I had to the side. Go ahead and add that in, and as you can see, it's already boiling, so now you can go ahead and mix everything together so all that browning that you did and all that stuff can come together as a whole, and that's what I'm doing right now. And once I'm done doing that, I'm just going to allow my stew to simmer on medium-low heat. Pretty much it, guys. It's not a difficult recipe. You just need to have time for this to cook. You want the meat to cook slowly, not fast. And then that's it. I enjoyed this with some white rice and some white bean sauce, which you can find on my channel. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. And for my returning subscribers, I love you all for watching. Until next time, bye.